Most High. Family, today we're going to talk about doing things the Most High's way. Sometimes we think we know better than the Most High, and we tend to try to do things on our own, the way we think is best. And oftentimes, it gets us in trouble with the Most High. Have a pretty bad ending to it. So today we're going to go through some of our forefathers and see just how not following the Most High's instructions and doing it His way led to nothing but trouble. And just right off the bat, we'll just start briefly with Abraham and Sarah. And Genesis chapter 16, especially verse 5, where Sarah is trying to dump all the blame on Abraham. Let the wrong against me be upon you. Let the Most High judge between me and you. And it was her idea. The Most High had already promised her and Abraham that they were going to have the son of promise. But what did Sarah do? She went and got her maid to lie with Abraham, and when Hagar conceived, she kind of, had despised Sarah. Why? Because now that she has a son from Abraham, she's looking for her son, to be the heir of what Abraham was to receive. Had she just waited on the Most High and did it the way He wanted, that wouldn't happen. Okay? But that was Sarah's idea. Okay? And then after it happened, now she wants to blame Abraham. Let's go to one of our most prominent patriarchs, Moses himself. Let's go to Numbers chapter 20, verse 8 through 12. Now this is when the Most High was telling him what to do about getting water for the children of Israel. They were complaining and everything else. So let's start at verse 8. He told Moses, take the rod and gather the assembly together, you and Aaron thy brother, and speak unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. Verse 9, and Moses took the rod from before the Most High as he commanded. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, hear it now, you rebels. Must we fetch you water out of this rock? See, Moses already had a attitude, because the children complained about everything. And in putting the Most High and giving him credit, he's saying, shall we fetch water for you out of this rock? See? Verse 11 says, Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. Verse 12, and the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron, because you believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. See, they didn't follow instructions. They didn't do it the Most High's way. He told them to speak to the rock. And in Moses' anger, he struck it. And pretty much giving himself credit for it. Shall me and Aaron get water out this rock? See, he didn't glorify the Father. And that was his mistake. And you see it cost him a trip into the promised land. Alright? So it's important that we do things the way the Most High wants us to do it. Let's find another. Let's go to old King Saul. Let's go to 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 2 through 4, and we'll go down some verses too. But 15 verses 2 and 4. Thus said the Most High of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, and how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. See, the Most High is saying, I know what the Amaleks did to y'all. Verse 3 says, now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, and camel and ass. See, Moses told him, just go wipe it out. Don't leave nothing. Okay? Verse 4 says, and Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen, and 10,000 men of Judah. Verse 7, and Saul smote the Amalek from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and suddenly and utterly destroyed all of the people with the edge of the sword. Verse 9, but Saul and the people spared Agag. See, and the and the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all what was good, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refuse that they destroyed. Okay. Let's go to verse 10. Then came the word of the Most High unto Samuel, saying, verse 11, it repented me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he is turned back from following me, and has not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Most High all night. Verse 13, just go to 13. And Samuel came to Saul and said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Most High. I have performed the commandment of the Most High. See, he's lying right there, because he didn't perform the commandment. He spared the king and the sheep and oxen he took, and he wasn't supposed to. Verse 14 says, And Samuel said, What means this bleating of sheep in my ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? See, Samuel said, "Oh, you did what the Most High said do. Well, why am I hearing sheep and oxen in my ear? You shouldn't have no sheep or oxen. They were supposed to be destroyed." See, verse 15 says, And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Most High thy Elohim, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. See, Paul trying to put the blame on the people, but you the king. You the one disobeyed. You wasn't supposed to take any sheep, and you definitely wasn't supposed to spare that king. It ends up that Samuel went on and killed him. You can read that whole chapter. And the Most High took Saul's kingdom from him. This is how David became king, because the Most High took the kingdom from Saul for not doing like he said, doing it his way. He said, don't spare nobody, women or men, child, nothing. But see, he didn't follow instructions. He wanted to do it the way he wanted to do it. Let's go to, I believe it's 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 8 through 15. And this is one of the head men up under the king named Naaman. And, he had leprosy. Okay? And he was wanting to get healed from it. So we'll just pick it up in verse 8. And it says, And it was so, when Elisha, the man of Yahuwah, had heard that the king of Israel has rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, Why hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come to me now, meaning Naaman, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. Verse 9, So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot and stood at the door of Elisha. Verse 10, And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But listen to Naaman. He wanted to do it how he thought to do it, and in the water that he wanted. Verse 11, But Naaman was wroth. He was angry, and went away, and said, Behold, I thought he would surely come after me, and stand and call on the name of the Most High, his Elohim and stripe his hand over the place and recover the leper. Verse 12, he said, are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. So he said, well, why I gotta go to the Jordan? I mean, those two rivers in Damascus is better of all the water in Israel. So why I gotta go get in the Jordan? Because that was the Most High's instructions through Elisha. That's why. Verse 13, and his servants came near and spoke unto him and said, my father, if the prophet had bid you to do some great thing, wouldn't you have done it? How much rather then when he say to thee, wash and be clean? They saying, well, if he'd have told you to do something else, that was great, you would have did it. So how is it that you won't go and, what he said to do in the Jordan and be clean? Verse 14, then he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordans, according to the saying of the man of Elohim, according to the sayings of Elisha. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. See, verse 15, he said, and he returned to the man of Elohim, Elisha, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, behold, now I know that there is no Elohim in all the earth but in Israel. Therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. See, when he finally did the way the Most High wanted done, he got healed. Now he had to fess up. Oh, well, now I know it's only one Elohim. And that's the one of Israel. See, but he didn't want to follow instructions at first. He wanted to go to 2 different rivers to be clean. But that's not what Elisha told him to do. Because Elisha is only speaking of what the Most High said do. And let's go wash in the river of Jordan 7 times. Not those other 2 rivers. So a lot of times we just do ourselves harm, thinking we know better than the Most High. Therefore, we just don't follow his instructions. Now this one really causes problem with some people. And we talking about Uzzah, the one that touched the Ark of the Covenant, and the Most High killed him. Let's go to 1 Chronicles, chapter 13, verse 7 through 12. Verse 7. And they carried the Ark of the Most High on a new cart out of the house of Abinadab. And Uzzah and Ohio drove the cart. Verse 8. And David and all Israel played before the Most High with all their might, and with singing, and with harps, and with psalteries, and with timbrels, and with cymbals, and with trumpets. But let's see what happened. Verse 9. And when they came unto the threshing floor of Chidon, Uzzah put forth his hand to hold the ark, for the ox stumbled. Verse 10. And the anger of the Most High was kindled against Uzzah, and he smote him, because he put his hand to the ark, and there he died before the Most High. Now, a lot of people look at that. Well, all he was trying to do was keep the ark from hitting the ground. Because, you know, the oxen kind of stumbled, you know, and it was going to fall off the cart. So he just put his hand on it to keep it from hitting the ground. Well, that's good. But he also violated the Most High's laws and stuff concerning that ark. Okay? Verse 11 says, and David was displeased because the Most High has made a breach upon Uzzah. Therefore that place is called Peruzah unto this day. Verse 12 says, and David was afraid of the Most High that day, saying, how shall I bring the ark of Elohim home to me? Well, David, you know, I know good and well David knows the procedures. Yeah, you know, he's the king. So he should know all the proper procedures concerning moving that ark and who should move it. In fact, let's help David out and see why Uzzah was killed by the Most High. Let's go to Numbers chapter 4, verse 15. And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is set to forward. In other words, they finna move around, go somewhere. And after that, the sons of Kohath shall come to bear it. All right? So we see the Kohathites are the ones who actually transported the ark, the priests. But they shall, listen to what but they shall not touch any holy thing, lest they die. Even the priest couldn't touch it. And they the one that's bearing the ark on their shoulders. They couldn't even look at it or touch it. Because anytime the ark was to be moved, then Aaron and his line of priests went in there and covered up everything. All the holy vessels, the ark and everything, they covered it. Okay? But the Kohathites, those that in charge of moving the ark and all the vessels, they couldn't even see it. Aaron and them covered up everything before they even went in there, because the verse just told you they shouldn't touch any of the holy things or they'll die. So, quite naturally, Uzzah and David, they didn't get the priest to move it. Another thing, it wasn't supposed to ever be transported by no cart. It was always supposed to be transported by those poles that's on the side of it, by the priest. So you got two things working right there. One, it should have been the priest that carried it. Number two, it shouldn't have been on no cart at all. Let's go to Exodus 25, verse 12 through 15. And thou shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them on the 4 corners thereof. And 2 rings shall be on one side of it, and 2 rings on the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of chittim wood, and overlay them with gold. Them staves is talking about those poles that goes through those rings on the side of the ark. That's how they picked it up and transported it, okay? Verse 14 says, and thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of this ark, that the ark may be borne with them. In other words, the ark should be carried by those poles that's on the side of the ark. Verse 15 says, this is another thing the Most High said, those staves or poles, whichever you want to call them, shall be in the rings of the ark, and they shall not be taken from it. In other words, you don't never take those poles out. They stay there all the time. That's what the priest carried the ark with, those poles, and he said, don't never take them out. Leave them on there. See? So there's another thing, you know, it wasn't carried by the priest. It wasn't never supposed to be on no cart. So that's violation of the Most High, you know, law and instructions. See, when you try to do things different from how the Most High wants it done, you're going to always get in trouble. As you see our forefathers did. All right, let's continue. We're going to get to 2 of Aaron's sons. You know, how the Most High took them out. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 10 and verse 1 through 3. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire on it, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Most High, which he commanded them not. Verse 2, and there went out fire from the Most High, and devoured them, and they died before the Most High. Then Moses said unto Aaron, this is that the Most High spake, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come near me, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace. See, it was a certain way that you made the fire, a certain way. And this is why they say they offered up a strange fire. In other words, one that's unauthorized or illegal or profane in the eyes of the Most High, because it wasn't done according to his instructions. Okay? And he dropped them right there on the spot. Let's go on down to Leviticus 16, verse 12. This is how they should have did it. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of the fire from off the altar before the Most High, and his hands full of sweet incense beaten small, and bring it within the veil. They didn't do that. The fire was supposed to be made from those burning coals from the fire off the altar. See? Now, why they didn't do it, I don't know. But there's probably another explanation of why they didn't do it. They could have been drunk or been consumed alcohol prior to going in there. And that's a no-no. Let's see. Yeah, go to Leviticus chapter 10, verse 8 and 9. Leviticus 10, verse 8 and 9. And the Most High spoke unto Aaron, saying, do not drink wine, nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when you go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation. So, is it possible they might have had a little bit too much to drink before they went in there and forgot the rules of how to make that fire? We don't know. It's possible. But you see, our people paid a heavy penalty, for trying to do things differently from the way the Most High say do them. Let's jump on over now to Lot's wife. Let's go to Genesis chapter 19, verse 17, and then we'll jump down to verse 26. And it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. Now this is the angels telling them. You know, he said, hey, escape for your life and don't even look behind you. All right? Now go down to verse 26. What did Lot's wife do? But his wife looked back from behind, and she became a pillar of salt. Now she's had a warning. She didn't follow the instructions of the angel. They told him, hey, run for your life and don't look back. And that's exactly what she did. And it cost her her life. See? Look, fam, looking back has consequences. Especially if you're not doing the things that the Most High said. You know, just looking back, period, it just carry consequences. Let's say you run up on some woman or man that, you know, you were dating and stuff like that before you came into the truth. You run into them maybe a year or two later after you've been in the truth and start having a conversation. Well, hey, I know you are in the Word now, but look, why don't we just go out and have a drink for old time's sake? See? And you go. See, now you're looking back. Because what you're going to start doing is reminiscing of what was, you know, and it could lead you into sin or total falling away. See, you sitting back reflecting on the past. You look back, see, or going to your relative's house and they having Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving. Oh, well, you know, just come over and be with the family, you know, and ain't nothing wrong with that. And you know, you haven't been with your family on those occasions, and you go to looking back on how, you know, it used to be fun and all this stuff, and you start looking back, and you know, you go and maybe eat some things you shouldn't eat, and you get comfortable, you know, talking about what was. And after a while, you'll go to missing it. Oh man, you know, before I came in the truth, everything was just fun. I miss being around my friends and family, you know. See, you looking back, and it has consequences. Because you're going to find yourself becoming apostate, falling away. Because you're looking back now. And we should never do that. Go to Luke chapter 9, verse 59 through 62. Verse 59. And he said unto another, Follow me. But he said, Master, let me first go and bury my father. And Mashiach said unto him, Let the dead bury their dead, but thou go and preach the kingdom of Elohim. And people think that's kind of a cold statement about Mashiach when he's telling them, let the dead bury the dead. But all he's saying really is let the people who are spiritually dead, who's not accepted the truth, let them bury him. But you need come follow me. That's what he mean by let the dead bury the dead, the spiritually dead. Let them bury the physical dead. You come follow me. Verse 61 says, And another also said, Master, I will follow thee, but let me first go to bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. And Mashiach said unto him, No man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of Elohim. So we shouldn't do it. We can't run into old acquaintances and go to looking back and get talked into, well, let's just do this for old time's sake. Okay? No, it's not a good idea. You looking back. You should be looking forward. Any man that's he's using that parable, you know, if you got your hand on the plow, you're supposed to be looking forward where you plowing to. You're not supposed to have a plow and you looking behind you. So that's, you know, you can't afford to look back. It's always forward. You go to looking back, bad things could happen. You know, You go out to a club with some of your friends that you hadn't seen in a long time for good time's sake. What if you in that club with them and somebody shoot up the place and you the one that get hit or killed? Why? Because you look back. You went with them for old time's sake. Remembering what was. And it cost you. Just like it cost Lot's wife for looking back. We better not do it. I'm telling you that now. We do not know or will ever know more than the Most High and what's best for us and how to go about doing it. Romans chapter 11 verse 33 and 36 says, "Oh, the depth of the riches, boast of the wisdom and knowledge of Elohim. How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past finding out." Verse 34 said, "And who has known the mind of the Most High? Or who has been his counselor? Or who has first given to him, and it shall be recompensed unto him again? For of him, and through him, and to him are all things, to whom be glory forever." We say, the Most High's ways and knowledge is past finding out. Okay? So, his wisdom and knowledge, it's unsearchable. Who are we to try to dictate the way things should go? Or how we should do it? Isaiah 55, verse 8 and 9. "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Most High. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts than your thoughts." See, Most High's ways and thoughts are not like ours. That's why, when he has a certain way for us to do something, we should follow it. He just told you his ways is not his ways. Your thoughts is not his. We do not know better. The Most High can see the ending from the beginning. We can't see past the tip of our nose. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 12. "There is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death." See, things just seem right to us. Oh yeah, well, I know what the Most High said, but that the way I want to do this, it seems better. See, and we get in trouble. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 7. It says, "Trust in the Most High with all thine heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Most High, and depart from evil. You know, I've had people ask me, well, when we praying to the Most High, why we gotta pray in Yahushua's name? Because that's what he said for you to do. Those are instructions. The same way they had instructions in the tabernacle, in the temple, They couldn't just go in there and devise their own way to sacrifice. There were certain procedures you had to go to. And the high priest, he couldn't enter into the Holy of Holies whenever he felt like it. If he did, he'd die. He could only go in there once a year. And that's on the Day of Atonement, to sacrifice for the people and himself. He couldn't just go in there willy-nilly any day if he wanted to. If he did, he wouldn't come out of there. It's not what the Most High say do. It's a certain way that people had to do everything concerning that tabernacle. Okay? The washing of hands and things like that. You just couldn't do it like you want to. It was different procedures you had to follow. So that's why we pray in our prayers. We'll say, in Yahushua's name, I pray. That's why. First Timothy chapter 2 verse 5 says, there is one Elohim and one mediator between Yahuwah and men, the man Yahushua HaMashiach. That is the mediator. This is how you access the Father. He wants you to do it through Mashiach, through his name. That's just the way it is. John chapter 14, verse 13 through 14. And whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father be glorified in the Son. If you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. Okay? It's just instructions. He's told you that no man goes to the Father except through him. He's the door. And if anybody else try to come in some other kind of way, they the same as a thief and a robber. It's just instructions, family, that we have to learn to follow. Let's get one more. Let's go to Acts chapter 4, verse 12. And it says, there is salvation, neither is there salvation in any other. For there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. That's the name that he wants to use. After all, what did Mashiach say when he came? I come in my Father's name. And we all know what Yahushua's name means. Savior. So this is the instruction. Mashiach is the mediator between us and the Most High. That's why we pray, using his name. It's just that simple. And I don't know what's going to become of the people who only believe the Torah or the Old Testament. What name they going to use to access the Father or obtain salvation? Because he just told you there's no other way to do it. If we don't follow instructions and do things the way the Most High laid out, you're asking for trouble every single time you do it. And that's it. So I wasn't going to be here too long today, family. Throat is kind of scratchy today, but hey, I'll get over that. But I just wanted to come on and just share the word like I always do. And more to come as the Most High permits. And until then, I'll say shalom.